It's not going to go nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. I live in this city. So I want my fellow citizens of Baltimore and also my politicians to understand Archie Williams is not going nowhere. Archie Williams is going to be here until you figure out that this is the solution that we need to have. This is the solution that we need to implement, like yesterday, in Ricky's voice, like yesterday. So listen. So I'm gonna turn it over to my doctor. I call him the doc. He's the doc with the solution. You know. So doc, glad that we have you in our presence right now.
I'm glad to be here. I like Baltimore. I like the people here.
Absolutely. Man, he's not on no phone. I can touch the doc right now. So, you know, if anybody have any questions, especially those of you that have the policy connection questions, man, call in at 410-481-1010 because the doc is in the building. You know, and he loves all criticism. He loves all questions. Please call in because we're going to be here for a while.
Absolutely. And Archie, you earlier asked if I would give a quick overview of the Community Support Program.
Mm-hmm.
So the Community Support Program is a program that allows us to help cities with high crime rates reduce their crime rates. Our objective is to reduce crime by 20 to 30% within the first year. And in Baltimore, that represents about 70 to 100 people not being murdered. And that's a pretty rough number. But man, that represents 200 parents. It represents hundreds and hundreds of kids not losing their brothers, their sisters, their moms, their dads, and that sort of stuff. And the way we do this is we have built a program that allows us to solve otherwise unsolvable crimes, to hold police accountable for their actions, and provide unbiased information as to what actually occurred at crime scenes or incidents involving the police. And we have a light airplane. We fly over a city. We take a picture that looks kind of like Google Earth, and it takes it every second. And then the only places we go to look are where people have reported major crimes, shootings, stabbings, aggravated assaults, and those things. Then we're able to go down into those locations and look and see what happened and follow the people to and from those crime scenes, backwards in time to the house they came from and forwards in time to the house they go to. And what that allows us to do is provide critical information to help solve, again, what would otherwise be unsolvable crimes. The way we help reduce crime within a community is by solving those crimes. We hope to remove the repeat offenders. That's a very small percentage of people who are committing a vast majority of the crime earlier in their criminal career. We would rather solve the first shooting someone does as opposed to have to be looking for them after their 8th or 9th shooting, because we save a lot of people that way. The other aspect, and Archie, I know this is one area that you've really been pushing, which is the deterrence factor.
Yeah.
We want, and what you've asked us to do is, if we're able to get back here, is to brief every single high school, every single kid, and show them how we go about solving murders and solving major crimes. Because once we've shown that, and we've shown that in, I think we've held like 18, 19, 20 community meetings.
Well, the first time I seen the program, I am not going to lie to you, my arms was folded because I wanted to figure out, well, how can the community benefit from this? And this is important that people, even the critics, understand this. Like Archie Williams was so like, okay, when I first seen the program, he'll tell you my arms was folded.
Yeah, they were.
Because the first thing I wanted to know is, okay, I see this is another implementation to lock more black folk up, but he said something to me that made sense. We can hold police accountable. Our own governmental system is not doing that. You know what I mean? So I want our critics to like really research this, like really research this stuff. Like understand what's for you and what's not for you. And if you clearly understand what's for you, then okay, we just had a whole Annapolis session. Wasn't there a session or wasn't there a law passed for these police's excessive force? Not one. Not even a smack on it, like don't do that no more. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing was
I
said.
didn't know that.
Not one thing. What do you
What?
mean? What do you mean? What these people?
All that corruption would just happen,
And with all the
Come on.
corruption, like understand this, right? Like I want my people to understand this clearly. Like we're at a state of emergency, and I don't know who's not calling it, but every time I turn on my television, I see a 26-year-old, 25-year-old, 26-year-old. Like they're not even making it past 30. So to me, as a black man, I'm in a state of emergency because there's people that look like me that's dropping like flies, man.
Yep.
So listen, before I start, I want to introduce my guest.
Okay.
This part is one of my guests. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
My name is Steve Copeland, and I love to say I'm a member of Communities United, but what I love about Communities United, we go into the communities and help them get organized against all of the things that's going on to have a healthy community. I'm like you, Archie. I mean, I get sick and tired of turning around and hearing how our young black men are killing each other off. Last night I ran over my niece's house because I heard some things, right? And I went over there and I pulled up and I pulled my car on the opposite side of the street because I knew the police was down there and I was pointing my lights towards them.
Right.
So as I got out the car, I banged on the door, but my whole presence was to let them know, y'all don't live right here. Please get off her front because y'all disrespecting her front. Right. Now, and a bunch of them got together, Archie, and I was like, let me tell you something. That's why we stay in trouble so much because y'all don't know how to do nothing without being around each other in the crowd. So they see it. You just putting yourself out there.
Right.
And I told you earlier, when I grew up and the way we grew up, you didn't let your business be known to the police.
all.
You didn't let it know.
Right.
Not at all.
And you protected your area.
Yes,
You
indeed.
protected the kids.
Preservation.
Now, what's pitiful now, man, is watching the way brothers do stuff now.
Indeed.
And it's sad to me.
It's sickening to me.
So my goal, man, with you and a few of us, and I love what he's presenting because it makes me feel like maybe I don't have to go that hard with what he's
man.
doing.
Absolutely.
Because I'm looking at getting some brothers together and we going up on them corners, not marching away from the corners,
Right.
not marching away,
Going
but going
to
to
them.
them.
Right.
I'm 56 years old. They like my sons. They like my children.
Absolutely.
But I'm listening to the doc right here, and I'm saying to myself, I might not have to do that then,
No,
you know, because
no.
I mean that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
I want you to understand something. Like, okay, let's make this be known real quick because the doc's
Let it be known.
The doc's character has been like almost tried to be assassinated. Like, understand this. Like, just because this man is white, that doesn't mean nothing to me. Because there's the same people that I'm trying to save are harm me before he harmed me.
Yep.
So let's get that understood. Like all this, he's white and he's Archie.
So you saying black on black crime?
Man, listen
Yeah,
to me.
I call
There's
it black on
nobody
black
white pulling the
segregation.
triggers in our hoods, man. Let's call it what it is. There's nobody white pulling the triggers in our hood.
And look, my director, Communities United, is white.
Right.
So I'm like, she's coming in to help clean up an area where we screwing each other around.
Right,
You
so-
know, and I'm like, come on.
And
You know?
you look at it, and I'm a numbers guy, so I'm driven a lot by the statistics. Out of the 347 people that were murdered last year, a vast majority of it were young black men.
Right.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So I'm hoping that the madam is listening to me because I want you to understand
You say
this.
madam.
Oh, she know
Madam
what I'm
Mayor?
talking about.
Who's
Look
that?
here,
Who's
look,
that?
Look here.
What
Wait,
madam?
no,
Who
look,
is that?
stop
Who's
that.
mad?
What madam?
Who's
Stop
mad?
that,
Man,
man.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Who's what?
Okay, there's only one madam.
Archie,
Listen.
please don't make me start sweating up in his air. Who's mad?
So listen.
Madam
so,
Kathy Pierce.
So I'm,
Oh, okay, that's what we're talking about.
I'm hoping
I
our
think
Madam
so.
Mayor is listening to this conversation because this conversation is educational because the doc has a solution to bring up the crime. What is it? The case closure rate. So, and that's very down right now.
I heard coming in.
That is,
Yeah.
listen to me.
And actually-
That is very down right now. The case closure rate's been down for almost how long? Almost what, 10 years?
Well, it really started off back just after Freddie Gray and stuff like that. So, I mean, last year there were 347 murders and only 72 convictions by the state's attorney. So that's a 23%
Who
closure.
the mouse?
That means more than 3/4 of the people were not tried and convicted last year, and that's not a very good number. when you look at it right now in the national news, there's a whole lot of information up about Chicago because they shot a whole lot of people last weekend. But unfortunately, when you look at Baltimore, Chicago's a lot bigger than us. And if we were the size of Chicago with our murder rate, there would be 1,556 people murdered. So we're actually more than double their murder rate for this number per person. So if you're looking at it, we're so far, we are more than double than all but 3 of the top cities in the United States in terms of the murder rate. And we have to do something about that because there are so many lives being lost.
Yeah.
We work a lot with Tears of a Mother's Cry.
Wow.
Millie Brown, who does a fantastic job.
She does.
Trying to help mothers who have lost their son. And you look at the ceasefire group and all everything else. It's all wonderful stuff, but all these